Harley is broke and it's only getting worse. Overpriced engines, empty showrooms, and a brand stuck in the past. Sales are in freefall. It's not just a rough quarter. It's an all-out freefall. Sales are crashing worldwide. North American demand is dying, and Harley's future is hanging by a thread. So, how did this legendary brand go from road royalty to retail failure? Let's rip it wide open. In emerging markets, Harley's sales growth has stalled hard. Their opportunities dried up as fast as their credibility. Production costs are spiking, margins are razor thin, and revenue pipelines are drying out. They're not just losing market share, they're bleeding it. And while they keep trying to expand globally, most of those moves have landed with a thud. But here's where it gets wild. Harley's idea of entry level means dropping over $17,000 before you even add the bogus dealer markups. However, across the street, Honda and Yamaha are handing you sleek, tech-loaded bikes for less than half that. Therefore, you'd have to be either wildly nostalgic or straight-up reckless to pick Harley. On the other hand, Gen Z is over here asking, does it even have Bluetooth? Harley says, heritage. Gen Z says, no, thanks. Now, let's really dig into the pricing nightmare. Take the Nightster. Sounds edgy, right? Starts at over $13,000. Not bad, until you step into the dealership and get slapped with all the magical fees they forgot to mention. Out the door, you're looking at $17,000 minimum, and in some cases, it balloons past $30,000 for a Nightster. Meanwhile, competitors like Honda and Indian are out here offering the same power, same performance, for under $15,000. And yes, that's with tech included. Then there's the touring models, the bikes meant for long-haul legends. Harley wants you to fork over $22,000 to $40,000 for one of those. Guess what riders are saying? Nope, because they can get better deals elsewhere, and they know it. Dealerships aren't helping either. They're adding $5,000 or more in shady setup and documentation fees and refusing to negotiate. And this isn't a one-off. It's a pattern. Buyers are walking in excited and walking out angry. And the bikes? They're not moving. The inventory's just sitting there, aging like bad cheese. Meanwhile, Harley still seems to think it can sell rebellion. The problem is, nobody's buying the fantasy anymore. Leather vests, bar fights, and outlaw clubs might have sold in the 80s, but now, Gen Z couldn't care less. They don't want to join a biker cult. They want something versatile, inclusive, and genuinely fun to ride. But Harley's still trying to convince them that revving a loud engine is a political statement. Spoiler, it's not. Modern riders are shifting their attention to brands like BMW, Triumph, and Honda, companies that actually listen. These brands throw inclusive events, host tech-savvy meetups, and focus on actual rider experience, not outdated imagery. Harley, meanwhile, is stuck running the same tired ads full of growling engines, bald eagles, and men who look like they own 6 denim jackets. It's not just cringe, it's irrelevant. Now here comes the real comedy. Harley isn't just fighting the competition, it's also losing to itself. That's right. Their biggest rival is their own used bike market. Boomers are retiring and offloading their rides by the thousands, and these machines still look amazing, ride beautifully, and cost half the price. A well-kept 5-year-old Road Glide, $14,000 to $15,000, upgraded and ready to roll. A brand new version of that same bike, over $30,000. For what? A new paint job and a few wires tucked differently? Riders know this. They're not stupid. Why would anyone spend double for basically the same experience? Harley made bikes too well. Durable, reliable, iconic. And now it's eating their future alive. Their own reputation for building long-lasting motorcycles is now cannibalizing new sales. Imagine building your own coffin one chrome pipe at a time. Now, let's get into the tech side of this disaster. Or lack thereof. Because Harley's still clinging to air-cooled engines like it's 1997. Meanwhile, everyone else is miles ahead. Honda, Yamaha, Indian. They're all rolling out bikes with liquid-cooled engines, adaptive suspension, selectable ride modes, and even smartphone sync tech. Harley's dashboard? Still analog, still basic, still boring. This is 2025. Riders expect modern tech. They want digital displays, safety features, rider assist systems, not a glorified thermometer and a speed needle. But Harley refuses to evolve. It's like they think change will make them less cool, when in reality, it's their refusal to adapt that's making them a joke. Even beginner bikes from Honda and Yamaha, half the cost, come loaded with better features. And we're not talking gimmicks. We're talking real ride-enhancing tech, things that matter. Harley's stubbornness is now their liability. They refuse to upgrade, refuse to streamline, and absolutely refuse to acknowledge that their riders have moved on. It's not that the bikes are bad, it's that they're stale. Old tech, old design, old attitude. Harley has become the flip phone of the motorcycle world. Once legendary, now embarrassing. And don't think riders haven't noticed. They're ditching Harley not because they hate it, but because they're tired of being insulted by price tags, scammed by dealers, and ignored by leadership. They're tired of feeling like they're paying more to get less. Tired of hearing about heritage when they want horsepower. Tired of chasing a brand that forgot what made it great. Harley is left standing in the middle of a highway with no map, no gas, and no clue. Riders are leaving. Gen Z's not interested. The competition is catching up. The used market is devouring new sales. And the bikes themselves? Stuck in the past, desperately pretending they're still cool. Let's talk about Harley's so-called innovation, if you can even call it that. First up, the Livewire. This was supposed to be Harley's Tesla moment, the electric bike that would future-proof the brand and introduce a new generation of riders to the Harley name. Instead, what we got was a $30,000 buzzkill that nobody asked for. It was like Harley built a motorcycle for Silicon Valley nerds who never ride, then forgot to tell actual riders about it. Who thought it was a good idea to launch a premium electric bike priced higher than 90% of gasoline motorcycles on the road? And when the sales didn't roll in, Harley panicked and shoved Livewire into its own spin-off brand. Translation: they gave up, slapped a new sticker on the box, and hoped we'd forget it ever happened. We didn't. Meanwhile, Indian's been quietly building high-performance models at realistic prices, eating Harley's lunch and washing it down with Red Bull. Embarrassing. Then came Pan America. And to be fair, credit where it's due, it actually wasn't bad. Adventure riders gave it props. It had decent tech, solid specs, and looked like something different for once. But Harley being Harley, they did what they do best. Absolutely nothing after. No follow-up, no lineup expansion, just crickets. One good swing, and they dropped the bat. Oh, and remember the Revolution Max engine? That liquid-cooled V-twin that was finally supposed to modernize Harley's mechanical heart? Yeah, they introduced it, hyped it up, and then buried it in a few niche models like it was a failed prototype. Instead of updating the full range, Harley decided to play it safe. Again, now they're stuck awkwardly between legacy bloat and futuristic potential, doing neither well. Because let's be real, Harley's biggest innovation problem isn't engineering, it's commitment. They hesitate, they second-guess, they cling to the past like it's their security blanket. And the result? They're not seen as visionary, they're seen as lost. Speaking of lost, let's take a ride through Harley's dealership hellscape. You'd think that in an era of online transparency and real-time reviews, Harley would have cleaned up its showroom act. Nope. Instead, they doubled down on dealer greed. Walk into a Harley dealership today, and chances are you're getting smacked with market adjustments, mystery fees, and a smug refusal to negotiate. And if that nonsense ticks you off as much as it does us, hit that subscribe button, because we're just getting started. Imagine saving up for months to buy your dream bike, walking into a Harley dealership and getting quoted $5,000 more than MSRP because the floor manager felt like it. It's a circus, a toxic, wallet-draining, patience-killing circus. Riders often leave the showroom not just empty-handed, but pissed. And let's not forget, first-time buyers are the lifeline of the brand. Harley just keeps burning them. And here's the kicker, there's no centralized pricing policy. Dealers are basically independent warlords at this point. They do what they want, how they want, and Harley Corporate lets them. So even if a new bike model gets praise, the buying experience ruins it before it hits the road. Why go through that nonsense when you can get a better bike, with better service, for less money somewhere else? Now here's where it gets even more painful. Because while Harley flails, Indian Motorcycles is playing a flawless game. Revived under Polaris, Indian has become the smooth operator of the American motorcycle scene. Their bikes look classic, ride modern, and come in at prices that make Harleys look delusional. The Indian Scout? Fast, reliable, gorgeous, and priced for humans, not hedge fund managers. The Challenger? Built like a tank, packed with tech, and it doesn't feel like you're paying for a museum piece. Indian actually listens to feedback. They're not scared to try new things. They're building real loyalty with younger riders because they offer value, performance, and modi. They're building real loyalty with younger riders because they offer value, performance, and modern features, all without preaching. And let's get something straight. Gen Z doesn't care about your heritage. They don't care that Harley's been around since dinosaurs roamed Milwaukee. They care about features, price, style, and how the ride makes them feel. They switch brands like apps. If Harley can't deliver, they swipe left and move on. Meanwhile, Indian and even global brands like Honda, Triumph, and BMW are out here throwing Gen Z meetups, test ride tours, and tech-focused campaigns. And it's working. So now, Harley finds itself exactly where you'd expect after a decade of corporate confusion, at war with itself. Half the company wants to modernize. The other half wants to preserve its denim and tobacco DNA. The result? Paralysis. The lineup looks almost identical to what they had 10 years ago, with a few LED lights sprinkled in like glitter on a broken mirror. Their core customer base, boomers, are aging out, selling their bikes, or just not riding anymore. That wave is receding, fast. And Gen Z? They're not interested in playing dress-up in a Sons of Anarchy costume. The culture has changed, the road has changed, the industry has changed, Harley has not. And don't get me started on product refreshes. Every year, competitors release updated models, fresh tech, new colorways, and smarter features. Harley? Same frames, same engines, different paint job. It's like watching a rerun of a rerun of a rerun. And while they debate their next move, the road is empty, the loyalty is fading, and the clock is ticking. Harley's fall isn't just loud, it's legendary. Like, share, and subscribe if you think the ride isn't over yet.